The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to every one of you. Hope you are all doing fine. Thank you all for your presence and your patience for taking time and registering in our workshop series because your participation means a lot to us here at ManageEngine, and we hope to make sure that this session is going to be valuable. I believe my voice is audible and the screen is well and clear. If not, kindly let us know through the chat. Let me introduce myself. My name is Anu. I'm a product architect at ADManager Plus and I'm your presenter for the day. So today is the last workshop of this ADManager Plus series and we have been looking at user provisioning and management techniques in the last 2 weeks. And in today's session, we will be looking about automation. So how do I automate certain critical Active Directory tasks? In other words, you can say how do I perform certain repetitive tasks that are crucial to my organization. It can be cleaning up of Active Directory or user provisioning or it can be anything. So the topic for today is automation of critical AD routines, setting up of iOS and Android apps and some troubleshooting tips. So in week 1 and 2, we were discussing about user provisioning and management techniques. So when it comes to user provisioning, we saw how you can create user accounts with the help of data given to you by your HR people and to put them in a specific OU with desired group membership. We have also seen how you can make certain attributes mandatory in your organization. We also saw how you can detect and handle forest-wide duplicates and also provisioning Exchange and Office 365 related accounts. So in week 2, we saw how you can modify your existing Active Directory accounts. Now say for example, you want to automatically update a group's membership whenever their departments are changed, or you want to modify the naming format or primary and secondary SMTP addresses when you're about to merge some domains. And if you're about to decommission file servers, you want to move home folders, or you may have to archive, or you have to migrate your Exchange mailboxes. So we were looking on these topics in week 2. So few people asked us a question. So if I have to automate a task, say for example, I want to create user account at the end of every day, at the end of every week. So how do I perform such task? And even some people asked us, say for example, if I disable an account and after 30 days, I want to delete those accounts. So how to automate these tasks? So this is going to be the topic for today. Okay, let me take you to the application. If you have already configured ADManager Plus, then you can very well make use of it. If you don't have ADManager Plus at your end, you don't have to worry about it. I will be sharing you the URL for the test lab that we have set up and hosted online. So you can make use of this link. Kindly look at the chat window for the URL. So you can make use of this link if you wish to test anything during the course of the session. And the username for logging into this application is ADMP and the password is workshop with W in uppercase. So kindly look at the chat window for the URL and please make sure to log on to ADManager Plus authentication when you log in, because this is going to be a local authentication, not a domain authentication. Okay, let me log into the application. So when you log in, kindly make sure you log in with ADManager Plus authentication. So as you all know, when you log in, you will be welcomed with the product dashboard. So today's focus will be on automation tab. Okay, so let me go to the automation tab. So as a first task, what am I going to do is I'm going to automatically provision user account as per the new joinee details given by the HR executive. So this is going to be the agenda for today. The first thing is I'm going to create user accounts whenever the HR executives update the data. And the next thing is I'm going to find out the stale accounts and then perform the cleanup activity for my Active Directory. Now say for example, if a user is inactive for 180 days or 90 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deprovision the user account following a sequence of steps. I'm going to disable them, move them to another OU, and then remove their group membership, and then finally I'm going to delete those accounts. Now say for example, you are hiring a contract employee. So now you will be provisioning some access, you will be providing some access to some business data for those employees. There's no big deal in provisioning or providing access to business data for your employees. But the problem arises when you forget to revoke those permissions. So I will be telling you how you can provide access to a business data for an employee, and then after a specific number of days, how to remove them automatically. And now say for example, you have multiple domain controllers in your organization and you want to find the data. For example, you want to find the login time, the exact login time with accurate to the multiple domain controllers present in your domain. So how do I find such reports? And the next thing is, if you want to perform some important Active Directory task, say for example, you are not in your work desk, you are not in your workplace, but you are somewhere in another location. But now you want to perform some operation like unlock a user account or disable a user account or enable a user account. So you can perform such tasks with the help of ADManager plus mobile apps. And the last thing that we are going to see today is some troubleshooting tips that you can find it helpful when you use ADManager Plus. Okay, so having said that, let me take the first task for today. So how do I automatically provision user account as per the details provided by my HR executive? Okay, so in the product, go to Automation tab. And as a first step, I'm going to create a new automation for my task, Create Users. Let me click Create New Automation and let me name this automation task as Create Users. You can choose the domain in which you want to create the user accounts. You can even specify the OUs where you want to create these user accounts. And you can decide the category. Say for example, now I'm going to create the user account. Or now if you are going to perform any operation related to a computer object, then you can choose computer automation category. Or if you want to perform anything related to group and contact, you can select the respective category from here. So right now I'm going to perform create user task and hence I'm going to choose user automation. And the task that I'm going to perform is create users. So if you have attended the previous session, you would have known what are all the essential things required in order to create the user accounts. So you need two things to create user account. One is a template and the next thing is a CSV file. So let me give you a quick recap on how to create a template. But before creating the template, I just want to give you some of the configurations that you need to set up in ADManager Plus. Say for example, when I create the template, I'm going to specify the naming format that my template needs to follow. Say first name dot last name for the login name or for the email address, or say last name dot first name. So it can be anything. So how do I configure such things in ADManager Plus? Let me go to Admin tab. So now I'm going to configure the naming format. So I'm going to create a user account for my ITS department, my IT admin department. So I'm going to create a new format. Click Admin tab, click Naming Formats, and then click Add New Format. I'm going to name this format as ITS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a custom text, say ITS underscore, and then followed by the first name. If you want to choose the number of characters, you can very well specify that. But right now I'm going to give all the characters here. So whenever I create a user account, say John as the first name and Smith as the last name, then my login name is going to be its underscore John. Okay, let me save this naming format. And also I'm going to specify the password complexity. Go to password policy. So I'm going to enter the minimum length as 8 and the maximum length as 12. You can even specify the number of special characters to be included, the number of numerals, or if you are going to be very particular about the case, then you can as well specify that. Lowercase or uppercase, or it's going to be in mixed case. And if you want to exclude some characters, say O or 0 or I, L, you can very well mention that. Or if you want to start with the alphabet, or if you want to use a dictionary word, then you can specify that here. Okay, so once you're done, just hit save. So your format will be something of this. And now, say for example, you want to configure a custom attribute for your employee. For that, you just have to click LDAP attributes, and in here you can add your custom attribute. Now say you are hiring an employee, a contract employee. Now you want to specify the employee type for the user account as contract. So what you can do is you can add the employee type custom attribute here. So like I did earlier. Now if you want to add a new attribute, just click add attribute. Now say for example, if you are an educational institution, then you may have a student ID or employee ID for staff, like teacher ID, professor ID, anything it could be. Now I'm going to enter it as student ID and the LDAP name is student ID. You can specify the data type, whether it's going to be a string, a boolean, or it's a datetime value. And you can associate the required management operation that you are going to perform. So I'm going to click user creation and user modification and then hit add. So this is how you can configure custom attribute so that when you create user account, you can fill in the values for those custom attributes. Now say for example, if you have integrated your Active Directory with Office 365, or if you want to integrate it through Google Apps, then you can enter the values for such configurations in these tabs: Office 365, Google Apps, so now say I want to add a new Office 365 account here. Just click this link, add Office 365 account. So you can enter the username and password, and then you can link this particular domain with your account. And now say for example, you have smart card authentication permitted in your organization. Then you can very well configure smart card authentication for logging into ADManager Plus. So like you can see here, you just have to install the certificate and then configure the account. You have to import the certificate, and then you can mention the attribute that you want to map in your certificate, say user principal name, or if you want to map with any other attribute, you can mention it in here and you can link with that particular domain. And now say for example, to avoid any interruption in using ADManager Plus, so you can make use of this high availability feature. So what you have to do is you have to configure ADManager Plus in 2 servers, and then you can make one as the primary and the other as the secondary one. So now say for example, by some mistake the primary server is shut down, then ADManager Plus will continue to run from the second standby server. Okay, so you can even personalize ADManager Plus according to your region. You can set the date and time, or you can set the language in which you want to display the values over here. So you can perform such tasks under admin tab. Okay, so having said that, so now I'm going to create a template to create user account with automation. So in order to create template, you need to go to AD management tab. So this is where you can perform all the management operations like creation, modification to any attributes or deletion. So as a first step, let me click user management and then click user creation templates. So by default, there are some templates provided in ADManager Plus, and if you want to create a new one, just click create new template that you can find on the right side of the screen. I'm going to name this template as ITS, and now I'm going to choose my logon name. So now I can see if the first name is John, then it will be ITS underscore John. Okay, so my email will also follow the logon name pattern. Okay, let me go to account tab where I can configure the password. So I'm going to set a random password as the default one, or if you wish to type it, you can type it here and set it as default. And you can make sure that user must change password at next logon. Or if you think the password never expires, you can set that as well. Or if you do not want your user account to change the password, then you can set that as well. Now say for example, you are creating a contract employee. So you can set his account expiry date. Now say for example, after 1 month, after 30 days, this account should be expired. So under account expires option, you can set the number of days, say 7 days, 15 days, 1 month, or you can even set a custom number of days. Okay, so I'm going to set it as 1 month. And if you wish to provide any restriction for log on, say they cannot log on from evening at night 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. So you can select the hours. So from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. on all days, the access will be denied. The blue one states that this user account can log in during these hours. If it is grayed out, then they are denied permission from logging into their systems. Okay, if you wish to set home folder or profile path, you can specify it in the template. Okay, so in the same way, you can even specify whether this user account will have a mailbox. Just click the mailbox enable user and then choose your required properties. Right now I'm not going to configure exchange related attribute for my user account, or say if you want to configure link related attributes, then go to link tab and then choose your option, choose your link server and perform the required option. Or if you want to configure the custom attribute, so if the employee type is going to be a contract employee, then you can specify that as well here. Okay, so right now I'm done with creating my template. I'm going to hit save template. So the next thing is to create a CSV file. I hope you all know how to create a CSV file. Just open your notepad, provide the LDAP header, given name. So this is the LDAP name for first name. If you do not know the LDAP name for a particular attribute, you don't have to worry about it. Just click the Help tab in ADManager Plus. So you can find the Help tab on the right side of the screen, top right corner. Just click this Help link. So this is where you can find all the references regarding ADManager Plus. So I'm going to do a CSV import, click create users using CSV, and then click list of LDAP attributes supported. So from here you can find the LDAP name for your attribute. Okay, so now I'm going to give the first name. So I have typed given name over here. Let's say the first name is Ross and the last name is Taylor. So if you want to create multiple user accounts, then you can provide their details one by one line after the other. Say Ross1, Taylor1. So right now I'm just going to provide detail for one user account. So once you are done, you need to save this file in a shared path, in a shared folder. So save this in a shared folder. So you make sure that you save this CSV file in a shared folder so that your HR people can open this notepad and then enter the details of the user account for the new joinee. Okay. So, okay, let me close this notepad and then try recreating it once again. So I'm going to enter the first name, last name for my user account and then save it in a shared path. Okay. .csv. Make sure you save the file with the extension .csv. So once you're done creating the CSV file, go to Automation tab and then click Create New Automation. So let me name it as Create User and then I'm going to choose the task as Create Users and choose my option. Select only the appended objects from the file. Now say for example in next week you did not hire any employee. So at that time ADManager Plus finds that this CSV file has not changed for the past 7 days and it does not create any user account. Or say for example if you are going to enter the employee name like this in the next week, then it will take only the newly added account. So if you have given the option select only the appended objects from the CSV file, then ADManager Plus takes the recently added objects in your CSV file. Okay. Now if you want to implement workflow, now say for example this your HR people is going to enter the value in your CSV file, and if you want it to be raised as a request rather than directly creating the user objects, you can simply select this checkbox implement business workflow. So if this option is set here, it means that a request will be created and now you as an executor, you can go and look in your workflow tab, see under all requests, you can find this task raised as an request. And then you can review it and execute it if you feel it valid, or if you feel it invalid, then you can simply reject the request. Okay, so the next step is to set the time at which, set the time or the interval at which this task should be executed. So let's say I'm going to run it weekly, every Monday, 9 a.m. Or say if you want to perform it daily, you can choose that as well. Daily at 9 a.m. you can make this task to run. So if you hit save and run, so what it does is this task will be executed, which means the account that I have specified here, the user account with the first name as Ross and the last name as Taylor. So this process of creating the user account will be executed and then it will be saved, and this will continue to execute at every day at 9 a.m. Okay, so I'm just going to hit save. So now you can see that this automation task has been successfully created. So if you want to have a look at how many tasks or how many times this automation runs, and you want to have to look at the result of every operation, just click at this icon. It will display the execution history. So as you can see, since I have created this automation only now, there are no records to display. And if this automation process is being executed, let's say I'm going to run this task now by clicking this option, run now. So the automation has started executing. And now if I click this execution history, so you can get the summary of this automation task. So I've got an error saying CSV import failed. So this may be because the folder that I have specified is not a shared path or it cannot access it. But if you have given the proper permission, this task will be executed and then you can see the result in here. So you can see the start time, the finish time, and the result of this particular automation. So this is how you can automatically create user accounts by creating an automation task. Okay, so let me move to the next task for today. So how do I find the stale accounts and then provide the cleanup activity? Okay, in order to perform this deprovision activity, I'm going to follow a sequence of steps. So when I find the user account who are active, who are inactive for say 30 days or 90 days, so first step is that I'm going to disable them. And then after 7 days, I am going to move these user account to another OU. And then after 7 days, I'm going to remove their group membership. And then finally, after 7 days, I'm going to delete these user accounts. So in order to specify these sequential steps, go to automation policy. So now I'm going to create a new automation policy. Click create new automation policy that you can see at the right side. I'm going to name this policy as deprovisioning. So this will relate to the user automation category. So the first task I'm going to do is to disable the user account. So select the task as disable users, and then I'm going to add a successive task. So after 30 days, I'm going to move this user account to another OU. So select the task as move users. So here you can specify the organizational unit to which you want to move these user accounts to. So I'm going to move it to disabled users OU. And now once I'm done moving these user accounts, I need to remove their group membership immediately. Just click this plus icon so that the next task to be executed can be specified here. So I'm going to remove the group membership. Just click remove from group. So if you want to specify a particular group, just click this plus icon and then select your group, or you can simply click clear all existing group membership. And after 30 days, I'm going to delete these user accounts. So I'm going to create another task specifying after 30 days, I'm going to delete these user accounts. Okay, so I have specified the sequence of steps to be followed while deprovisioning my user account. So I'm going to save this automation policy. So now what you have to do is you have to create an automation and then map this automation policy and then specify the time at which this has to be executed. Okay, let me go to Automation tab, and now I need to create a new automation. Click Create New Automation. Let me name this as Deprovision. And now you need to choose the automation policy. So previously I chose the task as create user, but now I'm going to choose the automation policy, the provisioning. And in the same way, if you want to implement the business workflow, you can do that. Or you can choose, and the next thing is to choose the user accounts. So I'm going to choose the user accounts who are inactive for last 30 days. Okay, so let me hit select, and now I'm going to choose inactive users who are user accounts who are inactive for last 30 days. Okay, you can even add some other conditions. Say for example, this should follow a particular employee ID or employee number. So you can specify that as well. Okay, now I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to run this particular task every week, Friday at 6 p.m. And now I'm going to hit save. So what this automation will do is it will take the user accounts who are inactive for last 30 days and then disable them. And after 30 days, it removes their group membership and as well move it to another OU named disabled users. And after 30 days, it will delete these user accounts. So this is how you can provide a cleanup for your Active Directory. And now then the next step I'm going to do is how do I provide temporary access for my user account to a particular business data. Okay. Now say for example, you want to provide temporary access to a file server. So you can grant this access to a file server by adding the particular user to a particular group member, to a particular group. And now if you fail to revoke the permission, remove them from that group, then they will still continue to have the permission of accessing the file server. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how you can create a policy for that. Go to automation policy. I'm going to create a new policy. Click create new automation policy that you can find on the right side of the screen. I'm going to name this policy as temporary access. So the first step is to add them to a group. Click plus icon. Now this will list all the groups present in your domain. So you can choose the group that is required to provide the permission for your user account. Let's say I'm going to delegate it to CS1 and CS2 and hit OK. And what I have to do is after 30 days, I need to remove them from these two groups, which is CS1 and CS2. So I'm going to add a successive task. Just click this link, add successive task. After 30 days, I'm going to remove from group. So now I'm going to choose the group, click plus icon here, and then choose the group. So I have selected CS1 and CS2 previously. So now I'm going to select these two groups here and then hit OK. So now I'm going to save this automation policy. The next thing you want to do is you need to create a new automation. So go to automation and then click create new automation. So I'm going to name this as temporary access. So this is going to be a user automation task, and now I'm going to choose the automation policy as temporary access. So there are two ways in which you can provide input for this automation. Either you can choose it from the report or you can provide the location of the CSV file. So like last time, I'm going to provide the location of the CSV file, and now I'm going to execute it on a monthly basis. So every month at date 1, this automation task will run at 10 a.m. Okay, so I'm done with this configuration. Let me hit save. So this automation will first provide access to the groups that you have specified, and then after 30 days it will remove the user account from those two groups. Okay, so let me move to the next task for today. So how do I ensure accuracy when I have multiple domain controllers in my environment? Now let's say you want to find the exact login time of your user account. If you have multiple domain controllers, so when a person logins to a particular computer, then the domain controller that is nearest to that particular workstation will be updated first. And then after replication, all the other domain controllers will be updated with the last logon timestamp. So since last logon is a non-replicating attribute, it may be difficult to find the exact last logon time for every user account. So in order to ensure accuracy, what ADManager Plus does is that it takes data from all the domain controllers and then provides you the latest time of logon. Okay, let me go to AD Reports tab. So this is where you can find various reports regarding your environment. Now say if you want to find any user related reports, say you want to find the user accounts who are created or deleted recently, or if you want to find inactive users, or if you want to find all the enabled users, so you can find all that here under AD Reports tab. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the real lost logon for my user account. So I'm going to click user reports and then choose real lost logon. So you can choose your domain, and if you want to set any filter, just click this advanced filter. So this will help you to choose whether you want to get the data for some particular user account or for a particular group or for a particular organizational unit. Okay, so now I'm going to leave it empty so that I can get all the user accounts here. Let me hit generate. So now you can see it takes data from two domain controllers. So my domain workshop.admanagerplus.com has two domain controllers, and this report real lost logon will fetch the values from both the domain controllers and then provide you with the latest logon timestamp. Okay, so if you want to export this report for your auditing purpose, you can very well export it to the format you want, to CSV file, to PDF, to XLS or HTML, in whatever format you want. Or if you wish to perform any operation over these objects, just select the objects and select your required operation. If you want to delete it or if you want to disable them, or if you want to set change password at next logon, or if you want to provide any actions, just choose that action and then hit go. So this will take you to that particular action page and you can perform your required operation. Okay, so let me move to the next task for today. So how do I make use of the mobile apps provided by ADManager Plus? Now say for example, you are currently not in your workplace. Now if some person in your organization calls you and says his user account has been locked out because of the bad password count that exceeded the limit. Now what you have to do is you have to immediately unlock the user account. Now if you are far away from your workplace, you may not be able to do it. But if you have ADManager Plus mobile apps installed in your phone, so ADManager Plus provides both Android and iPhone apps. So just go to home page. So this is where you can find the link to the mobile apps. So you can find the Android app in the Play Store, and if you wish to install iPhone app, then you can find it in iTunes. So it takes a limited amount of memory in your mobile phone. Now if you get it installed, let me show you how it looks. So the first thing you need to do is you need to configure the server settings. You need to enter the server name or the IP address where you have installed ADManager Plus, and also the port number and the protocol, whether it is going to follow HTTP or HTTPS. So once you have configured it, just hit save. This won't be asked the next time. So once it is saved, the next time you open the app, it'll take you to the login page. So this is where you can provide the username and password and then hit login. So first thing you see is the options, that the reports that you can get with the help of ADManager Plus. So it gives you all users report, or say password expired users, inactive users, and all that. Now if you select all users, so it will list all the user account in your domain. So now what you have to do is you have to select the user account and then reset password, or unlock user account, or modify their group membership. But before that, if you want to have a look at the details of that particular user, just click that user, then you can see all his details. His full name, his SAM account name, his employee ID, his email address, his telephone number, and all that. And now if you wish to perform any operation, say enable user account or unlock user account, so what you have to do is you have to select the user account and then choose the required operation. Say unlock user or enable user account. So once you click that, you will get the status message, whether it has been successfully updated or you encountered any error. Now say for example, you want to perform a group membership operation. Just hit group membership. So this is where you can decide whether you are going to add the user accounts to a particular group or remove them, or you are going to set the primary group for them. So this is how you can make use of ADManager Plus mobile apps, so you can perform everything from one single app. Okay. So now coming to the last topic for today. So how do I find certain troubleshooting tips? Now say for example, I install ADManager Plus and it does not discover my domain. So why is that so? So just click the help link that you can find on the top right of ADManager Plus window. So once you click that, like I said earlier, it will take you to the help document where you can find all the references regarding ADManager Plus. Now let me choose troubleshooting tips. And if you have any queries, say why my domains are not added automatically, or how do I add a particular domain controller. So like I said, when I start ADManager Plus, none of my domains are discovered. So this could be due to a problem in your DNS server, or your server is your server or your workstation is not connected to the network properly. So it can be due to such things. Now say for example, you are creating a user account and you happen to find an error message regarding user management. Now you happen to find an error message that password is not set. The server is unwilling to process the request while setting the password. So just click this question. So the possible reason could be you may not have configured the password complexity properly, or like the length of the password and all that. So likewise, you can get the possible answer for the error that you encountered here. So now you perform any report from ADManager Plus and you get an answer, no report available. So this could be due to really there are no data in your environment, or there could be any network error in your environment. So you can always have a look at this troubleshooting tips available in the help document, and you can find the possible solution for your error. Okay, now coming to the end of the session, let me give you a quick recap of what we have seen today. So we have seen how to create an automation for various tasks like user creation or modifying the group membership, or for deprovisioning your user account. So you need to create an automation policy for deprovisioning where you can specify the sequential steps and then map it to your automation, and then specify the location of the CSV file or choose the report from where you want to get the data, and then finally set the execution time, the frequency at which this automation task will run. And if you want to get a report based on your multiple domain controllers, if you want to ensure your accuracy of the data, then you can always rely on ADManager Plus reports. And also we have seen how you can make use of mobile apps, and also some troubleshooting tips that will be helpful when you perform any operation with ADManager Plus. Okay, so having come to the end of the session, so if you have any queries, just kindly let us know through the chat. I will be answering you after this session. Or if you have any other queries, you can always contact us at support@admanagerplus.com. So once again, thank you all for joining us in our workshop series. I believe it has been helpful for you, and I would like to thank you very much. So that's all for today, and have a nice day.